Hi, everyone, and welcome to Catamount Community Connection, our weekly 1-hour show that we air each and every Sunday. Different times, different stations, and you can also find it on the web at pegtv.org. Pick the date that the show aired on the radio station or who was on it, and you'll be able to listen at your leisure on YouTube. Our show brought to you, as always, by the Rutland County Agricultural Society, which has brought you the Vermont State Fair at Rutland since 1846. The 180th Vermont State Fair, folks, is days away. It's this coming Tuesday through Saturday. And in the second half of the show today, we will be talking with Robert Congdon, who's the president of the fair, president of the Rutland County Agricultural Society. He'll bring us, well, literally up to date with any last-minute changes to some of the ground acts and the grandstand performances that will be coming next week. So don't forget the fair. Get ready. Get your tickets. Get down there maybe a couple times next week and enjoy the Vermont State Fair. Today, in the first half hour of the show, we'll be talking with Robert, or Bob Knudsen, who is the chair of the Rutland Southern Vermont Regional Airport Advisory Committee, which is a very important sounding committee and title. It happens also that I believe all the senators from Rutland County and 2 of the House members are also on that committee. And we have various things that we want to talk about in terms of making some improvements. And those of you that have not taken advantage of what I consider one of Rutland County's best kept secrets, maybe you'll get a little bit of an idea about some of the stuff that could be happening down there. It's definitely a huge asset to the region for sure. And I will just tell you again, Cape Air, which is the current carrier, has 3 flights down to Logan Airport in Boston and 3 flights back each day. And you can literally fly down for somewhere around $80, $85, and then you can park your vehicle at the Rutland Airport free for 2 weeks. So if you want to take a trip in the middle of the winter to a sun-beached island somewhere, you get on board in Rutland. You can park your car, walk in, fly down to Logan, and then from Logan you can go anywhere, and then come back, and you don't have to deal with the time it takes to get to Logan or any of the New York airports, the tolls. Certainly the parking has got to be the big thing, with a lot of money being spent on the parking and just the time and the inconvenience. So I've taken advantage of that many times, and hopefully other people have as well. And maybe we have people listening that have no idea that that's true, but right now at least that is true. 3 down, 3 back from Logan. From Logan you can go anywhere in the world. And it really is not a very costly trip at all. So, Bob, I want to welcome you in. And you and I were at last week's Chamber Mixer, which we did have at the Rutland. And I'll just call it the Rutland Airport. It's a lot easier than saying Rutland Southern Vermont Regional Airport. So welcome in. And I thought we had a pretty good turnout last week. And I know we want to talk about some specific things that we hope will be able to take place down at the Rutland Airport.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brian. I'm Bob Knudsen. We really do think that we've got this incredible infrastructure asset here that really does need to be more well-known. Even the locals, a lot of people just don't realize what a gem we really have. It's an amazing airport to fly in and out of. The scenery is incredible. And the flights to and from Boston, I mean, they're so fast. You get there in an hour.
Yep.
I mean, compare that to driving down there. It's 3 hours minimum if you're lucky, if weather and traffic's on your side. And then on top of that, you got to park and you got to deal with all the security and that sort of thing. Security here takes 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's such a convenient thing. And then through our friends at Cape Air, through the Essential Air Service that they provide, which is a commercial service that the federal government helps out with, they are able to keep it going 3 times a day, every day, 365 days a year. So it really is just a nice thing. I'll be flying out myself on Tuesday, and then again next month. I fly out all the time, and as Brian said, it's like $89. So it's hard to beat. Some of the things we'd really like to do over there, we'd really, again, like I say, we'd like to just get more people aware that they have this opportunity and this option that makes their lives so much easier. But also, we are trying to get some additional development done over there, some modernization going on with some of our infrastructure. We've got some local business leaders who are interested in putting some hangars up if we can get the utility infrastructure in place. We've talked about doing some modernization to the terminal. And many of you may remember when there used to be a restaurant in the terminal. We've got a new one coming in this fall. Rabbit, if anybody's familiar with them from the Rutland area here, they will be opening up sometime this fall once they get all their ducks in a row for that. So that's a cool thing.
And we want to talk too about a feasibility study. So, it's a small airport with, I think, I don't know if there are 2 gates. It says gate 1 and gate 2, I think, but it's really all of one.
Functionally one.
Yeah. And again, that makes it really convenient. And as Bob mentioned, it's easy because you take your stuff out of your pockets and use the thing and your phone and all that. And then if you're going to Logan and you're flying on a specific flight, and maybe it's all of them now, I use JetBlue to get from Logan down south. You don't have to go through another checkpoint. You're already in the terminal. And so you don't have to take your shoes off and your belt and all that again. You're already in, and that's another convenient feature. Yep,
it shares the same gate space with JetBlue down there, but some of the other airlines are real close by, like United. I use quite a bit out of there. Just whatever your preferred airline is. For the most part, you don't really have to go back through security. There's a few that are a little bit further flung, but for the most part, you can get anywhere.
But the advantages to especially on a private situation, so of hangars, which would be privately owned. And some of the folks that are blessed to have the resources to buy a hangar and have one constructed are constricted right now because there's no room. There's only a couple hangars, and you can't leave your plane, obviously, out in a blizzard and then expect that it's going to work very well. So they need to get inside in a space. And we have local people who, again, have that wherewithal, and unfortunately have to use Hartford, Connecticut right now to put their plane in and then drive up. So that would be one thing that we would be able to possibly, and again, it's going to take some money and some effort, but the feasibility study, I think, is maybe where we want to start with this morning or this afternoon, depending on when you're listening to the show, so that we could have somebody come in and take a look at the landscape there, the property, and then make recommendations about how many hangars would be appropriate and whether we could make some improvements to the terminal, all that kind of stuff, as well as Bob mentioned. The other issue, of course, is the water and the electricity, the infrastructure, and that's not right now enough for some of the improvements that could be taken up.
Correct. And there's also concerns about the fire suppression system if you have a hangar over a certain size, just like with any building of any substantial size. So yeah, we've got some quotes for what the feasibility study would run. Right now we're fundraising. We're trying to obtain some grants, and we've also got some private investors who are interested in throwing some money at it as well. And it's important, as Brian alluded to, people hear private planes and they think, suits big, huge executives with bajillions of dollars. But that's not the entire story. That's part of it, of course. And frankly, we want them too, because if they're here with their planes, they're paying our taxes. They're paying, they're a lot of money coming in. But we're also talking about just general aviation people. We're talking about, regular people flying their little Cessnas and their little Pipers and their little Cherokees who are not millionaires or not zillionaires. These are regular people just trying to get to and from where they're going. And it's jobs. We have pilot training schools over there. We have the Modern Aviation does our fueling and services for the airline, as well as for some of the general aviation people. We've got emergency services coming in and out of there. We've got healthcare people coming in and out of there. But the big one is the tourism dollars. Southern Vermont is like 30% of the state's population, but we're like 40% of the state's tourism dollars. That's $1.6 billion. And a lot of that is coming into the state already right now. If we can capture even more of that and we stop sending it over to New Hampshire and New York and Massachusetts, that's big money that could come into this state that's really, really crunched budget-wise, both in the public sector and the private sector. These are jobs. This is money for people in our community. My wife owns a little gift shop down on 103, Wally's Corner. We are dependent on the tourism coming through this place. And if we can increase that, that helps everybody. A rising tide lifts all boats, or airplanes in this case.
And in terms of timing, it's interesting that coincidentally, Killington is in the middle of, still procedural permit kind of things with the TIF district there. But there will be a huge expansion of availability for folks to come up and enjoy skiing here at Killington. And Okemos, the other one down in Ludlow, that also benefit directly from having an airport that close to them. The next nearest one, I guess, would be Lebanon. I don't know how we match up with them in terms of the ability to, get people on and off airplanes. Burlington, obviously, is a little bit further away, and Albany. So those are the closest ones. Yeah. But how do we stack up with the others? And, how do you see, Bob, that, and again, we're talking to Bob Knudsen, who's chair of the, I'll just call it Rutland Airport Advisory Committee, and it has a group of legislators on it, and we are very keenly interested in trying to facilitate this feasibility study so that we have some funding for someone who's a lot smarter than me to come in and say, okay, this is what I would recommend you do. Maybe move buildings around, maybe find that infrastructure improvement to be not as complicated as sometimes it looks. So anyway, that's the airport. And how do we shape up, I guess, is the basic question I'm trying to ask here.
Well, so we are, of those ones you listed, we are the smallest one, but we don't have to be. That's kind of the point here. We are... They don't like to say that we are in competition with these other airports, but the bottom line is we are. There's only so many flights you can go on at the same time, and the number to that is one. We are the largest state-owned airport in the state that has commercial service. Burlington is not state-owned; they're municipality-owned. So this is a state-owned asset that really puts money into our state's coffers when it is used through tax dollars and through the activity that happens there. Lebanon is across the border. Every plane that goes to Lebanon and is stationed there, that money's going to New Hampshire. Every plane that goes to Albany and is stationed there, that money's going to New York. That doesn't come to Vermont. We need those money. We need to capture that economic activity. But yeah, we are the only actually commercial, or the only state-owned commercial airport that has regular scheduled service at all. And even that is subsidized by the federal government at the moment. So we are looking to get some more private funding and some more private investment in the area. Brian mentioned we got the grants that we're applying for. We got one we're applying for this week with the support of our politicians as well as several of our local business leaders. We got a letter of support from the mayor's office, from Cedar, from the RRPC. So we've built quite the coalition. I met with the governor back in April. We've got we're making moves down here to really try to use this asset to its fullest potential for everybody in the entire region, really.
I know we also have the ability to take larger planes in right now, not the big ones that you would see at, Logan or LaGuardia or anywhere else, even Albany. But we did have, and I think it was a Markowski group that not that many years ago, lengthened the runway so that we could accept some jet traffic that we weren't able to at one time. And I don't think any of us on the committee are thinking about taking 100 acres away from anybody and trying to build this major international
we're not
airport.
Talking about it. We're not talking about adding land at all. That's not even really on the table. I mean, if the feasibility study comes in and says, hey, you need to add some more land and that sort of thing, then we could talk about that. But that's not even on our radar, so to speak. We're really just talking about taking what we already have and just improving it.
Okay. And how many flights could come in and out of the Rutland Airport daily if we were able to, because we already know there's 3 from Cape Air.
Well, that's the 3 commercial ones. There's a ton of other flights that are coming in too. These private plates, cargo, that sort of thing. And there are jets that come in too. These PC-12s and the larger Cessna. I forget the name of the model, but right now I don't have a real number for that, to be honest with you. But it's a lot. We could handle a lot more than we do. Is the short answer.
Yeah. And it seems like, because you do have to go through a security checkpoint in order to get on.
It is TSA.
Yeah. And they are able to take long breaks in between flights.
Right.
And I'd like to keep them a little busier, and I think they would enjoy being a little busier too. That would be one key point. And whether that means we need, even a longer runway or an additional runway, I have no idea. I'm not... I don't know that there's really a lot about actually extending the runway. I don't know that that's really something that's necessary. I think it's really just about improving the existing facilities. The thing that we really need more of is just places to put planes. It's a better apron. It's more hangar space. That's kind of the big thing. The terminal needs some serious updates to be modernized, and then the utilities are very, very out of date, especially going to where the hangars would be. They need to be really, really updated or even put in some cases where they just don't exist. Is that mostly like electrical and water?
Electrical and water being
Okay.
That would be the big 2. Fire suppression system, again, that's another one that's a big concern with these large buildings.
Yeah. And I know from being down there quite a bit, the plaque on the wall outside the terminal, it was put up during Madeline Cunan's administration. So
it's been a while.
Yeah, that lets you know that it's been there for a little bit. So hopefully someone listening who may be finding all this out for the first time will say, wow, I didn't know that. You mean I can jump into my car, park at Rutland Airport, get on a plane, be in Logan in, I say 50 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, if the weather's in your favor, 45.
Yeah, and park for free for 2. I didn't realize I could leave my car there for 2 weeks and nobody's going to charge me for it.
You can even go down in the morning and come back in the afternoon. Go down and catch a Red Sox game and come right back up.
Isn't that? Yeah, and I'd forgotten all about that too. So daily trips back and forth. I have been to Red Sox games where I had to drive. And if it's at 1 o'clock, you got to leave here about 6 in the morning in order to battle the traffic down to Storrow Drive and all that, and then do the game and get back, late in the night. So this would facilitate a lot of that. So anyway, if somebody's listening for the first time and the light sort of went on, and you have any desire to sort of help out, you could get contact into with Bob Knudsen. How do they reach you?
You can reach me. My phone number is 802-468-7874. Or you can email me at bob@bobknudsen.com, bob@bobknudsen.com.
And of course, I mentioned the legislators that are on the panel. So I'm on it myself. Senator Weeks, Senator Williams, and then Representatives Chris Keyser and Dave Bosch are also on the committee, I believe. I hope I didn't leave anybody out.
Well, we've got a few others who've helped out as alternates as well, but those are kind of the ones who have been most directly involved.
And you mentioned this great sort of group. It started from Cedar with Lyle Jepson, who's now the state's economic development director, but he was the original guy from the chamber that was on it. And also Devin Neary from the Rutland Regional Planning Commission. So those are 2 very powerful and important folks to have, in your support. The governor's on board, as far as I understand from talking to him. He doesn't use Rutland Airport that often. Obviously, he lives up north, and I'm sure goes in and out of the state from Burlington. But he's aware of it and does support it. And again, it's just such an economic driver for so many things. If Killington does expand to the extent that some of us expect it will, we're going to need this. We're going to be able to serve a lot more people.
100%. The infrastructure is 100% there. It just needs to be improved. It's as simple as that. I mean, we have it. We don't even have to build it. It's already there. We just need to get it up to snuff.
Cape Air's contract, I think, has another year left, and then they'll put that out to bid. and I'll just put a plug in here for the EAS service. That's the Essential Air Service, which allows the federal government to subsidize, and I'll be frank, to a great degree, the ability of a private carrier to go down and back to Logan, even if the plane's not completely full. And there's at least the possibility, because they're federal funds, it's federal money, it's your tax money, folks, but it's coming out of the other pocket and not the state pocket. But there is at least a possibility of a move maybe to cut that back. We're not quite sure whether that would be, a reduction that would only allow 2 flights a day back and forth, 1 flight a day, or cancel it entirely.
Or it could just be increased airfare.
Right. And you could do it that way. But I would say, again, if someone's listening and you have an in with Senator Sanders or Senator Welch or Congresswoman Ballant, let them know that we deeply value the Rutland airport situation, and we don't want anything cut. In fact, it wouldn't be bad if they could see to it to increase the subsidy a little bit. And we could add a 4th flight down to one of the New York City airports, maybe.
Be kind of nice to have additional destinations. Yeah, letters of support, emails to especially these people who actually have the keys to the pocketbook. Mixing my metaphors there, but they really do go quite a long ways. We have spoken with Representative Ballant's people and with Senator Sanders' people in the past. They have given us some verbal support, but they unfortunately have not been able to commit to anything as far as maintaining that EAS service, not just for Rutland. This is for rural airports across the country. And it is a very important way that we stay connected to the rest of the country and the rest of the world, really. So it is it's vital that we keep that alive. A lot of people don't realize that the airlines really don't make a lot of money off of direct airfare. And on these larger airlines, United, Delta, American, whatever, for the average regular coach passenger, they're making like $8 a pop. And the rest of it's covered by their business class and their first class. That's who they're making their money off of. We don't have first class coming out of Rutland. Cape Air doesn't have planes large enough to have a whole separate section of people they can, get this extra money out of. So we need this money coming from another place. And if it's not coming from the federal government, it's coming from the airfare, which means those $89 flights could go up to, $189, $289. And that becomes a little bit of a hardship.
Yeah, for sure. I could tell you, and maybe it's just one man's view, but I've been on a number of them. So the planes normally hold, I think, maybe a maximum of 8 to 10 people.
Correct. Yeah. When you get above that level, they start running into additional crew requirements and that sort of thing.
So there have been flights where, at least in the old Cessnas, I sat in the co-pilot seat. And the pilot said, now be careful, don't hit that switch there and don't put your feet down on the brakes. But to me, one of the things, and it may be just my own thing, the attraction to it is you go up maybe 5,000-6,000 feet, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending. And you're able, if you're sort of like aware of where you are, to pick out certain landmarks below you. And it's kind of fun. You could see the interstate. You could see the rivers and lakes and ponds. You could see the big twirling, what am I trying to say here? The windmills over to the southeast of here, depending on the flight path. And there are different flight paths. And you'll hear those Cessnas going back and forth. If you get 7:30 as the time normally where the earliest flight leaves from Rutland. And I always look up and say, boy, I wish I was on that flight, because it's just fun to be there. When you get on a major carrier, you're up more like 30,000, 40,000 feet, and you don't see that sort of detail that you will if you're on I guess they call them puddle jumpers, but I find that great.
Well, and one other thing to note on that, too, you mentioned the Cessnas. They've actually, Cape Air, if you haven't checked them out yet, they've actually got some, in addition to their old Cessna 402s, they've got these new planes, these Tecnam 2012s, which are roughly the same size. They're twin-engine planes as well. But they're very modern and very cool. You can see the avionics. You can kind of look at the instrument panel while the pilot's flying. But they are brand new planes. Most of them are 3-4 years old tops. So it's a very cool brand spanking new plane that you're getting on when you're flying out of Cape Air right now.
Yeah. You could see how fast you're going, how high you are. the heading that you have. To me, it's just really interesting.
The air conditioning's better on them too.
And maybe the heat. Yeah. Because they do fly 12 months a year. And again, I think it's just a great service that we are lucky to have, where you can literally leave your house, go to the airport, stay for 2 weeks somewhere, knowing that when you come back, your car is going to be right there. You're not facing a 3.5-hour drive home. You're, whatever it is, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, even if it's a half hour away from your house, it's a lot better to land and do that than to have to come from Boston or elsewhere. So we're hoping that the subsidies stay in place, maybe even get a little bit of an increase, and you folks listening can help us by letting our 3 federal delegation members know that you do support this. And again, we're hoping that somehow this coming legislative session we can find some funding for a feasibility study, which will allow someone, I'm not sure who it would be that was hired, but there are companies that's what they do for a living. They come in and they take a look and they make recommendations, because that's the next step. And probably the infrastructure has to be the first sort of thing that happens. And then the apron may be getting enlarged, and then maybe a couple more hangars, maybe 3 or 4. That would be great. Probably not at taxpayers' expense. Again, we're talking with some folks that have the wherewithal to be able to afford that to do themselves. So,
yep, we've got some private investors who've already committed that they'd be willing to pay for the hangars as long as they can get the infrastructure in place.
Yeah. All right, we got about a minute left, Bob. I don't know if there's anything we haven't talked about that you want to bring up.
I think that pretty well covers it. Yeah. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Especially this fall, once the new restaurant opens up down there. That's just come by and have a bite. I don't have an official date on that yet, but Rabbit sometime this fall. So you can just come down and just check it out. Sit there and watch the planes come in and out. It's really just kind of a fun spot for a date, or just to kind of spend some time. I take my laptop down there and just sit there in the space and work for a bit every couple of weeks.
I can remember when I think it was called the Beacon Restaurant years ago was there. And I know from talking to Mike Klopchen, who's on the select board. In fact, I think he's the chair of the Clarendon Select Board. And he was in the legislature at one time as well. But his major point in all of this was that the local people in Clarendon and Wallingford and Rutland Town and the immediate area, that's where they want to eat a lot of times. And unfortunately, the last few years that hasn't been possible because there wasn't a restaurant. So I'm hoping that this new group that comes in and opens up will be able to sustain themselves with getting enough customers in the door whenever it is that they open. And Bob said he doesn't have a date yet. And I'm hoping that, again, it'll be one that will be able to get maybe a breakfast and a lunch, and maybe you don't worry about a dinner as much.
I think they're planning to start with breakfast and lunch based on the conversation I had with him the other day.
Yeah, that would be great. And then people will, again, it's kind of like the restaurant at the Rutland Country Club, which has become immensely popular. But when you're sort of like saying, okay, let's go out to eat, honey, where do you want to go? It doesn't maybe come up on your top 5, not because it's bad food, just you don't think about it.
You don't know about it.
And it's the same thing with the airport, which, has had a restaurant for many years, and you don't have to fly anywhere. You just go in and eat and leave.
Hang out.
But, it's hopefully going to open up, and they'll be able to, be a successful business in the area. Well, I want to thank you for coming in today. Again, we've been talking to Bob Knudsen.
Very good. Thank you, Brian.
And he's the chair of and I'll use the whole title here, the Rutland Southern Vermont Regional Airport Advisory Committee.
RUT if you just want the 3-digit signifier.
Yeah. And again, I'm on that committee, and we're hoping that we can find a way to get this feasibility study done and over with, and then begin work on actually making some improvements down at what I still call the Rutland Airport. So, Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll have you back as we get closer to the legislative session, perhaps.
Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. See you around.
Okay, we will take a break here on Catamount Community Connection. When we come back, Robert Congdon from the Fair will be joining us as we take a look at Fair Week coming up this coming Tuesday. We'll be right back. Community Connection. I'm your host, Brian Collamore. Each week, we talk to different folks from all over the area. Just had a really interesting conversation, at least I thought so, with Bob Knudsen from the Airport Committee. Talked a little bit about how you can fly down and back to Boston for about $80 each way and park free at the Rutland Airport for a couple of weeks if you need to. And as I promised, we're now going to talk to Robert Congdon. And I'll mention again, our show is brought to you by the Rutland County Agricultural Society, which is going to be bringing you the 180th Vermont State Fair in 2 days, folks. 2 days, this coming Tuesday through Saturday. And we are happy to have Robert with us. He's the main cog in the wheel down at the fairgrounds. And I know you're busy, but welcome in, and it's always great to see you.
Well, thank you for having us, Brian, and appreciate any opportunity to come and promote the fair. So thank you so much.
So we could talk a lot about the ground acts, the Diamonds and More grandstand acts. And, you know, we've been talking about this for a few months thinking, oh, well, you know, it's a ways away. All of a sudden, we're looking right at it.
It's amazing how quick it comes.
Yeah.
We are very excited. The carnival was actually in yesterday doing their layout for the rides, which is always exciting. That makes it real when you start to see how things are going to be set up and how things are looking. Our vendor counts are up this year, which we're excited about, with, you know, a few different food vendors this year that people haven't seen. I think one of the notable things, we've tried to bring in some more ethnic cuisine, and we actually have a Filipino trailer this year with Filipino cuisine. But yeah, we are very excited. Things are starting to come together. Of course, we're recording here on Friday, and things are a flurry of activity down there already with people zooming around and getting things squared away. But yeah, things are coming together. We are excited for our grounds acts for sure. Pirate Man Dan is always certainly a favorite with his Turbo the Tractor and the Moving Mermaid as well. We've got Aristav's Acrobatic Extravaganza, which is going to be a great one. And I highly recommend everybody who's coming down with kiddos to check that out because he's very interactive. He involves them in the juggling. He involves them in what stunts he's doing. And I think a lot of people are really excited to have duck diving dogs back. It's been on a hiatus for a year. Everybody seems to gather around that to see how far the dogs can jump, and that's going to be a great show as well. And they're going to be Wednesday through Saturday this year, and we'll have some bleachers set up out there so we can hopefully get a few more people around the pool this time around, and that is exciting. And aside from that, we've got the Stingray encounter where folks can go in and see the stingrays. We've got the Robin's Heavenly Birds tent where folks can go in and check out the birds, and last I knew they have a traveling tortoise with them as well, so the kiddos love that one. And we also have Louie's Comedy Circus back this year, which is a great act. I tell people there is out there legitimately Clown College, and Lee is a graduate of Clown College. So we've got a certified clown circus, comedy circus on the fairgrounds this year, which is an elite group, and they will tell you that if you ask them. So that's definitely something that we're looking forward to again. And then, of course, all of the other, exhibits. We've got Danny Moore with all of his one-lunger engine displays. The Farm Museum will be open. Of course, all the cows will be there, all the horses, all of those things that you come to expect from the Vermont State Fair. And what we have been reminding folks is all of that entertainment, and including the wee racing pigs and goats that I failed to mention, all of those acts are included in the gate price. So we boast the most free entertainment, the most included entertainment in your gate admission of any fair in the Northeast. So we are very proud of that, and you can come down to the fairgrounds and literally spend hours wandering around the fairgrounds taking in those free acts that are included in your ticket without spending another dollar. You don't have to lay another dollar on the table. It's all included as soon as you're through the gate. So that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the other things, the polls and the demo derby, and of course the big act on Saturday night to wrap things up. But it's funny how everybody looks forward to the fair, and even though it used to be in September, it's been moved back to August, and this year it's the 18th through the 22nd. It reminds people that summer is beginning to dwindle. You know, it doesn't get to 90 degrees as often as it did a couple of months ago, and fall is on the way. School will be starting very soon, and football games and all that kind of stuff. So it's a transition period, but I think most people really just look forward to going down, and I've been making the case for going down more than once. You can certainly take in the Midway and all the other stuff that's over on sort of that side of the fair, and that'll take you most of the day. And then spend time on the other part, the agricultural part for sure. And I'll be over to that maple candy building probably more than once. And the MSJ booth too. We can't forget them. Those are great events, and people work hard to bring all of that together. So, yeah, the only variable, and I hate to even bring it up, is the weather, and we have no idea what the next week to 10 days is going to bring us. We're hoping that it's going to be, as we record this show with Robert Congdon on the Friday before the fair, this would be like perfect. I think it's going to be 75 to 77 degrees today, low humidity, lots of sunshine. But there's nothing we can do about that one way or another.
And as of right now, the long range is looking that way. So we're excited for that. The long range is definitely looking positive for us. Like you say, we don't always know what how accurate the long range is, but right now things are looking great, especially for a great open on Tuesday at 5 o'clock when we open the gates up and welcome everybody in for the kickoff.
And we'll be looking forward to that for sure. Let's talk about some of those major events that are coming up, like the Demo Derby and the tractor and horse pulls, because those are always fun too, right?
Absolutely. So, yeah, coming to the Diamonds and More Grandstand this year, Tuesday we'll kick off with a Pond Hill Pro Rodeo. We're very excited to have Pond Hill back on board again this year. So 7:30, Pond Hill Pro Rodeo. We also, on Wednesday, will have the DNA Motorsports Demolition Derby, which everyone looks forward to. They always do a great show, and that will be coming your way 7 o'clock in front of the Diamonds and More Grandstand. On Thursday, we have the tractor pulls, which they're running multiple classes this year. We've got antique, we've got some enhanced. We've got the tractors are going to be out in force, hopefully, on Thursday evening, and that is an included in admission Diamonds and More Grandstand. So again, that's another one of those things that as soon as you are through the gate, you are not going to have to pay another fee at the grandstand to go watch the tractor pulls. So what I notice about those nights, Brian, and I think this is probably true in the history of the fair as well, is a lot of people just come, take in, a few pulls and wander out and go get food, come back, or maybe go ride a few rides, come back. But they take that opportunity to come and go from the grandstand. So that's Thursday night. Friday night under the lights, we have SOS Promotions Flat Track Racing. This is a new promoter for us this year. They are coming in, and the riders that are coming, which come from all over, are going to get points in basically the chase. People who are used to NASCAR and used to those types of things. Flat track motorcycle racing has a chase in the end of the season, and they're going to be racking up the points while they're with us. So we're hoping to see a great number of riders, and we're looking forward to what is going to be coming our way on Friday night. And then, of course, Saturday night wraps it all up, 7 o'clock. We can't thank the Paramount enough and Catamount Radio right here that we're sitting at to help bring Aaron Lewis and the State Liners before all the folks here at the Diamonds and More Grandstand on Saturday night. That's just going to be a great way to wrap it all up and put the cherry on top for the end of the week.
Tickets still available for all of these, right?
Yep, ParamountVT.org. So ParamountVT.org. I stress this, especially this time of year, that is the only Diamonds and More grandstand ticket location. If you are buying tickets anywhere else, you are getting scammed. So we want to spread that word far and wide, which, Brian, I know you guys dealt with that in the legislature. It's a big deal all over the entertainment industry. You want to make sure you are typing in ParamountVT.org and at the Heritage Family Credit Union box office at the Paramount. You want to be there. You don't want to be anywhere else because otherwise you are getting scammed. So, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a great week. Quote unquote, on the big stage out there in front of the Diamonds and More grandstand. And then, of course, the carnival in and of itself, we see a great, in the layout right now, there's an awesome number of kiddie rides again this year. Last year, they really stepped up what they had for little kids. And I expect this year to see a few different ones for the little ones. So definitely going to be a great number there. And then, of course, the thrill seekers can go on the little bit crazier ones as well. We got those going on down through as well. So yeah, lots and lots of opportunity there. And we appreciate Amusements of America and Miller Amusements that come in. And need to give our props to, they're being brought to us this year by Primo Corporation. That's the main sponsor of the Midway this year. So we appreciate Primo Corporation as well. So lots going on and lots happening down at the Vermont State Fair this next week. And I sure hope everybody takes the opportunity to come down and check things out.
Yeah, it's, age comes as you hang around longer and longer. So what I love about the fair is that you have something for every age group. You mentioned sort of the slow rides with the toddlers and younger folk, and then you get into your teens and you want to really show off in some ways, and you jump on a ride that, at my age, there's no way in heck I could ever even get on the thing, let alone still be alive when it ends. But and then you mentioned the agriculture part, and I. It's funny you mentioned that one lung engine thing, and I've stood there for a long time sometimes and just watched it and tried to imagine how that was invented. It must have taken a lot of brain power to figure that out.
Well, even down to usually the washing machines there, right? The washing machine that ran on a motor back then. It's unbelievable to look at the technology that came out, in that turn of the century time period that certainly to us feels very removed, but it's just neat to be able to take that in at the fair and see that. And of course, even go further back with the blacksmith shop and as they're, forming metal into different things. And, our blacksmith shop is manned by local blacksmiths that come in and volunteer their time to put on that display for the public. So that's exciting. And, there's just so many different pieces that come together for this, and all of the departments just put in such work behind the scenes that nobody realizes. And most of them are volunteers. Most of them are coming down and doing this because they love it. They want to bring it to the public. They have very thankless jobs. We know a bit about that, Brian, when you have a thankless job, but they just put their hearts and souls into making sure that there's such great displays, and I look at the work that goes into things like the quilts that hang on the wall. Just the amount of energy that's put into that. And the fair is a great opportunity to see that, and the fair is also a great opportunity, and I hope folks that come down are able to say thank you to those folks that are in those departments that, organize the kids in 4-H, organize the Grange is still very active. They do so much. The UVM Master Gardeners who make our grounds just look phenomenal, but also coordinate the competitions for floriculture and all the flowers that are coming in throughout the week to be judged. Just so many of these pieces, so many of these nonprofits. The Sugar House is a nonprofit that raises money as well, and they actually give money to Foley Cancer Center every year out of what they raise. So all of these different groups just do this for the love and for the community.
Yeah. I know even the folks that park you, when you drive in from Route 7 and you're parking on the lawn in front or in back of
on Park Street.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They're psyched. They're really into the whole atmosphere of the fair. And then the folks that keep the rest areas clean, it just from top to bottom, it's all hands on deck. And again, hopefully we can continue, as we have in the past few years here, to make this a very sustainable and profitable event for certainly the Agricultural Society, but for everybody that's in there. I mean, the vendors depend on a lot of these activities to make some money and stay healthy, and hopefully it will continue to do that. We're going to take our second break here on Catamount Community Connection. We're talking to Robert Congdon, who is the president of the Rutland County Agricultural Society, and also, at least for a short time left, president of all the other fairs in Vermont. We can certainly talk about those. Some of them have already happened, and we'll get an indication, I guess, from Robert, maybe about how things went up in Addison County, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll take a break here on Catamount Community Connection, and we'll be right back with Robert Congdon in a minute. Welcome back to Catamount Community Connection. And we're talking this week with Robert Congdon. The Vermont State Fair, folks, starts on Tuesday of this week and runs through Saturday. We talked a lot about some of the acts that will be coming up. How about, I know for a certain age group, maybe there's young bingo players too, and I imagine there are, but certainly for some of the older folks, we got bingo that we constantly have down there too, right?
Yeah, so the Diamonds and More Bingo Hall is open daily. We've converted, and you and I will remember this, Brian, at least, the old restaurant on the back of the industrial building. The Tom Thumb restaurant is now the bingo hall. So for folks who remember Tom Thumb restaurant, that's now the Diamonds and More Bingo Hall. And they're open daily, and they do a variety of things. They do cash bingo, which everybody loves to make a few extra bucks at cash bingo. But they also have some prize bingo going on this year, too. The team did a great job getting gift baskets from different businesses, and a few of the bingo games mixed in are going to be some of those business gift baskets that have been donated as well. So that's going to be happening daily down there. And everybody can certainly also make their way around the fairgrounds. And, one of the stops actually is right by the bingo hall. Our shuttle is the Northeast Kingdom Express, which we dub actually the Rutland Herald Express for the week, because they're gracious enough to help us bring that in. So you can literally ride around the fairgrounds. Again, that's included. There's no charge for that, to hop on the train and get from one side of the fairgrounds to the other. And we get lots of comments about that. The fact that, hey, it's a lot easier for me to get to the cattle barns now than it used to be when, you roughly had to walk the half a mile or whatever it is to get over there. And now they can hop the train and get around the fairgrounds at the 4 different stops and enjoy different parts without, maybe quite exerting the energy they used to have to get to those places. You mentioned too, when we took our break, merchandise. You can, for those of you that want to have something to remember this year's fair by, or maybe other year fairs, you've expanded the merchandise too, right? Yeah, so we, about a year, this year's the first for it. You can actually go into the merch stand, which is right next to the ticket windows under the grandstand, and you get to pick your T-shirt design, and they'll make it for you right there. So there's some options for the shirt designs, and you can pick out which one you want to remember this year's fair by, and you can place your order, and Connie and anybody else who's going to be working in there will put that all together for you, and then you can loop back and pick it up later on in the evening. Or we're even going to potentially take orders as well for order that we can ship out. Like if you want to send something to a family member in a different part of the country that used to be in Rutland and maybe likes to remember the fair and needs something to remember the fair by, you could maybe send a Christmas present this year as well, because we're going to take orders that way as well. That's great. And again, it's this Tuesday through Saturday, so make your plans. When the rides are going in, when they're on, the Demo Derby, the Pond Hill Pro Rodeo, all that kind of stuff. And, of course, the final Diamonds and More grandstand event on Saturday. One thing we didn't talk about, and this won't necessarily end this week, is the Gatehouse project, which, again, was put into place to try to save that building. It is an old building and in need of repair.
How are we doing on that?
So we made some headway. We're working also in the grant department to hopefully get some grants put towards it as well. Folks have been putting money out towards that, and I need to say thank you. Thank you to each and every one out there. There are two ways to give. We have a QR code with which will be located around the fairgrounds next week as well for digital giving, but we've also had folks actually mailing physical checks into the Rutland County Agricultural Society Foundation, which is P.O. Box 10, Rutland, Vermont 05702. We greatly appreciate those folks who have reached out. We've heard the positive comments too of thank you for saving it. Thank you for keeping this icon of Rutland, in good repair so that it can last another generation or two. So we're grateful to you all out there. And if you haven't and you're considering giving, we appreciate that. We've got a Buy a Brick campaign coming out soon. We're going to do kind of a brick patio out behind there. And you can buy a brick and your name will be on a plaque out there by that patio as well. So we're going to be doing that coming up soon to kind of spruce up that area when we do get it totally redone and get it opened up. We're going to place that patio out there as kind of a remembrance for those who came alongside and helped make that happen. So exciting things happening, and it is making progress. We certainly have a long way to go. We got a tall order to raise the money, but we're excited for what's already happened over I think it's been about a month now that the campaign's been going.
Okay. So gates open this coming Tuesday when?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on Tuesday, and goes all the way through Saturday. Trying to think of anything else we haven't mentioned about this year's Vermont State Fair. And again, this is the 180th, so this is literally not our first rodeo. It's been going on for that number of years. Started out in Castleton, and it's moved to its present location many years ago. And we hope for great weather. Again, it does happen, rain or shine, folks. So if inclement weather looks like it might be, just bring an umbrella, but enjoy the fair still. And as Robert said, it looks like, at least right now, we could be in for some really nice weather for that whole upcoming week, and we certainly hope so. And again, I would urge people to not just head for an hour and then go back, but go back again and enjoy some of the things that you may not even be aware are there, whether you've never seen dog diving or a pull, whether it's a tractor or whatever. That's what the fair is all about. It's a tradition here in Rutland, and again, I know people look forward to it. It's just part of what we do and what we look forward to each year. Absolutely. So, I guess just in closing, Brian, we encourage people, those grandstand tickets for the Diamonds More Grandstand are available at ParamountVT.org, and those will be available right up to the nights before the show. So certainly you can pre-buy your tickets right up until the fair opens. I'm going to have the offices open down there Monday and Tuesday during the day. You can still come in and get season passes. You can still come in and purchase the pre-sale ride tickets that are discounted. But as soon as the fair opens at 5 o'clock, those deals go away. So, last minute purchases for those things certainly can happen now. And they're also available at Johnny Boy's and Village Snack Bar, Maple Angus, and Sunoco, South Main. Oh, great. Well, best of luck. I know you don't need luck. Well, maybe you do need some luck with the weather, but I got a feeling this is going to be a really great year at the Vermont State Fair. I'd like to see attendance records set. I'd love to see that too, certainly, and hope folks will come down. And I've been telling people this for years. If it's been a number of years since you've been down, come down and give us a try. It's maybe it's been a long time since you came, and that's for a variety of reasons. We don't need to get into that right now, but if you haven't been down in a while, take the chance on us again. Come down, see how things have changed, see how things have improved, see how things have been built back, as Brian's mentioned, and come on down and enjoy your local community fair, because it's because of folks out there that keep these community fairs going across the state. And unfortunately, as the years go by, we seem to continue to lose them, and we certainly want to keep these traditions alive. For sure. Robert Congdon, the president of the Rutland County Agricultural Society, which bring you this program each and every Sunday. And the 180th Vermont State Fair is literally a couple days away, folks. Get down and enjoy it. Robert, thank you so much. We'll have you back and maybe get a report after the fair's over.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Brian.
And we will see all of you next week here on Catamount Community Connection.